My car was upside down in a ditch when I called my parents and begged them to take my newborn daughter. My mother didn't ask if I was alive. She said, "We're not taking that baby. You made your choices." Then the line went dead. Hours later, my grandfather walked into my hospital room carrying my daughter in his arms. He looked at my parents and said, "You refused your granddaughter. Now you can explain why you lied to me." My name is Hannah Miller. I was 28 years old when my entire family broke apart in one night. My daughter, Lily, was only 6 weeks old. She had my eyes, tiny hands, and a habit of falling asleep whenever I sang to her. Her father, Ethan, had left before she was born. He said he wasn't ready to become a parent. Then he moved to another state. I was hurt, but I wasn't alone. At least that was what I believed. My parents promised they would help me. My mother held Lily at the hospital and cried. "She's beautiful," she whispered. My father kissed my forehead. "We'll be here." I believed them. For 6 weeks, they visited often. My mother brought food. My father fixed a broken shelf in my apartment. They acted like Lily was part of the family. Then everything changed. One Sunday, my parents invited me to dinner. I arrived with Lily in her car seat. My mother looked nervous. My father barely spoke. After dinner, my father cleared his throat. "Hannah, we need to talk." "Okay." My mother stared at the table. Then my father said, "Your grandfather is coming next month." I smiled. "Really? I haven't seen him in years." "He's staying with us." "That's great." My father looked uncomfortable. "There's something else." "What?" "We don't want you bringing Lily." I thought I had heard him wrong. "Why?" My mother whispered, "Your grandfather is old. So, he doesn't handle surprises well. Lily is his great-granddaughter." My father stood. "He doesn't know about her." The room became silent. "What do you mean?" "We didn't tell him." My chest tightened. "Why not?" My mother began crying. "Because of Ethan." "What does Ethan have to do with Grandpa?" "Your grandfather always believed you should be married before having children." I stared at her. "So you hid my daughter." "We were protecting you." "No, you were protecting yourselves." My father's voice became hard. "We don't want an argument when he arrives." "Then tell him." "It's too late." "It's never too late." My mother looked at Lily. Then she said, "Maybe you should stay away for a while." I couldn't believe it. "You want me to hide?" "Just until Grandpa leaves." "For how long?" "Maybe 2 months." I picked up Lily's car seat. "You're asking me to pretend my daughter doesn't exist. We're asking you to keep the peace." That phrase made me angry. Keep the peace. It always meant someone else had to accept humiliation. I walked out. For the next week, my parents barely called. Then, on a rainy Tuesday night, everything changed. I had taken Lily to a doctor's appointment. The roads were wet. It was late. Lily was asleep in the back seat. I remember seeing headlights. Then I remember a loud crash. My car spun. The world turned upside down. Glass shattered. My head hit the window. When I opened my eyes, I was hanging from my seat belt. Blood ran down my face. I heard Lily crying. "Lily." Her cries became louder. I tried to move. Pain shot through my side. My phone was on the floor. I reached for it. My fingers touched the screen. I called my mother. She answered. "Hannah." "Mom." "What happened?" "I had an accident." "Are you okay?" "I don't know." I looked toward Lily. The car was filling with smoke. "Mom, Lily is here." "What?" "She's crying, I can't reach her." "Call emergency services." I did, they're coming. "Then what do you need?" "Please." My voice broke. "Please come and take Lily." There was silence. Then my father's voice came through the phone. "What happened?" "Hannah was in an accident," my mother said. I heard him sigh. Then he asked, "Is the baby hurt?" "I don't know," I whispered. My mother said, "We can't take her." I thought I misunderstood. "What? Your grandfather arrived today." "I know. We can't bring Lily into the house." My hands started shaking. "Mom, I'm trapped. We're sorry. Please, I don't know if I'm going to be okay." My father took the phone. "Hannah, emergency services will handle it. They can't keep her forever. They'll find someone. She's your granddaughter. We can't." My voice became louder. "You promised you would be here." My father said, "You made your choices." Then he ended the call. I stared at the phone. The smoke grew thicker. Lily screamed. I tried to reach her. The seatbelt wouldn't release. I pulled until my hands bled. Then I heard sirens. The next thing I remembered was a paramedic shouting, "Stay awake. Where's my baby? She's breathing. Where is she? She's safe." I woke up in a hospital room. My ribs were broken. My arm was in a cast. My head hurt. The first thing I asked was, "Where is Lily?" The nurse looked confused. "She's in the nursery." "Bring her to me." "We can't." "Why?" "You're scheduled for surgery." "Then call my parents." The nurse looked down. "They said they can't take her." I closed my eyes. Even in the hospital, they had refused. Then a social worker entered. "Ms. Miller, we need to discuss temporary care." My heart stopped. "What?" "You're injured. Your daughter needs someone to care for her." "My parents." "They declined." "Call them again." "We did." "Call them again." The social worker remained calm. "Do you have any other relatives?" "My grandfather." "What is his name?" "William Miller." She typed it into her computer. Then she paused. "Your parents listed him as deceased." I stared at her. "What?" She turned the screen toward me. "Your parents had told the hospital that my grandfather was dead." My heart began racing. "No. They said you had no living grandparents." "That's a lie." I grabbed my phone. I called my mother. She answered. "What? Why did you tell the hospital grandpa was dead?" Silence. "Mom, you need to rest." "Why did you lie?" "We didn't want them contacting him." "He's alive." "You don't understand." "Then explain it." My father took the phone. "You need to stop asking questions." "You told them grandpa was dead." "Yes." "Why?" "Because if he finds out about Lily, he'll be disappointed." "You're more afraid of his disappointment than you are of losing your granddaughter. You're being emotional." I laughed. I couldn't believe it. "My car flipped over. I'm in a hospital. You refused to take my newborn, and I'm being emotional." My father became quiet. Then he said, "We'll talk later." He hung up. I cried until my nurse returned. But she wasn't alone. An older man stood beside her. He wore a dark coat. His hair was white. And in his arms was Lily. My grandfather. He walked toward my bed. "Grandpa." His eyes filled with tears. "Hello, Hannah." I tried to sit up. Pain shot through my body. "Lily. She's safe." He placed her beside me. I touched her tiny hand. She was warm. Alive. I began crying. "How did you find us?" He looked toward the door. "Your neighbor called me." "My neighbor." "She saw the accident on the news. She knew your parents were hiding something." My heart stopped. "Did you know about Lily?" "No." "Then why are you here?" He sat down. "Because I called your parents." "What did they say?" "They told me you were away." "And?" "I heard a baby crying in the background." I looked at Lily. "They had her." He nodded. "They picked her up from the hospital." My blood ran cold. "They took her." "Yes." "But they told me they refused." "They refused to keep her." I couldn't breathe. My grandfather continued. They took her because they were afraid I would find out. They planned to leave her with a private agency. The room became silent. They were going to give her away. Temporarily. That doesn't make it better. No. My grandfather looked angry. I went to their house. What happened? Your mother opened the door. And I asked where my great-granddaughter was. She lied. Yes. What did you do? I told her I knew. My grandfather's voice became hard. Then your father admitted they had taken Lily from the hospital. My hands shook. They had her. Yes. And they were going to hide her. They said it was best for the family. I looked at Lily. My own parents had taken my newborn. Not because they loved her. Because they wanted to control the story. Then my grandfather handed me an envelope. What is this? Your parents' statement. What? They signed it. I opened it. It said they had refused responsibility for Lily. It said they had no intention of caring for her. It said they believed I was unable to raise her. I looked at my grandfather. Why would they sign this? Because they wanted control over your future. What does that mean? He looked away. Then he said something I never expected. Your father has been using money from my trust. I froze. What? Years ago, I created a family education fund. For us. Yes. Dad had access. He was supposed to use it for his children. My grandfather's face became cold. But he used most of it for himself. I stared at him. What does that have to do with Lily? Everything. He took a deep breath. Your father was afraid I would review the trust when I learned about your daughter. Why? Because I had planned to transfer control to you. The room became silent. You? Yes. Why? Because you were the only person who never asked me for money. My eyes filled with tears. But I didn't know about the trust. That's why I trusted you. My father had hidden my daughter. He had lied to the hospital. He had tried to separate us. And now I understood why. He was afraid the truth would expose what he had done. The next morning, my parents came to the hospital. My mother carried flowers. My father looked angry. Where is Lily? My mother asked. With Grandpa. You let him take her. He saved her. We were protecting you. You lied and told the hospital he was dead. My father looked at the floor. My mother started crying. We didn't know what else to do. You could have told the truth. Your grandfather would have judged us. You were willing to lose your granddaughter to avoid being judged. My father stepped forward. This is about the family. No. I pointed toward Lily. This is about her. He became silent. Then my grandfather walked into the room. He held a folder. My father stood. Dad, don't call me that right now. My father's face changed. My grandfather placed the folder on the table. What is this? My father asked. An audit. My father turned pale. My grandfather looked at me. I reviewed the education fund. My mother covered her mouth. My grandfather continued. Robert used money meant for Hannah's education. I paid it back, my father said. No. I planned to. You used it to pay your business debts. My father looked away. My grandfather turned toward me. You worked 2 jobs to finish college. I nodded. You took loans. Yes. While your father used your money. Tears filled my eyes. I had spent years believing my parents couldn't help me. But they could. They chose not to. My grandfather looked at my father. You called Hannah irresponsible. My father said nothing. You told the hospital she was unable to care for her child. Still nothing. But you were the one stealing from your daughter. The room became silent. Then my father said, I made mistakes. My grandfather shook his head. You made choices. That sentence sounded familiar. You made your choices. The same words my father had used while I was trapped inside my car. My grandfather opened the folder. "The trust is closed to you." My father's eyes widened. "You can't do that." "I already did." "What about the house?" "The house is not part of the trust." "But my business." "Your business is your responsibility." My father looked at me. "Hannah, tell him." I stared at him. "Tell him what?" "Tell him I'm your father." I looked down at Lily. Then I said, "You made your choices." My father's face collapsed. For the first time, he understood what those words felt like. My parents left. My mother cried. My father didn't. He just walked away. Months passed. I recovered slowly. My grandfather moved into the apartment above mine. Every morning, he came downstairs to hold Lily. He sang old songs. He told her stories. And every time he looked at her, he smiled. "You know," he said one day, "your parents were wrong." "About what?" "She isn't a shame." I looked at Lily. "No. She's the reason the truth finally came out." My parents lost access to the family trust. My father's business eventually closed. Not because I wanted revenge. Because he had built it with money that was never his. My mother sent letters. She apologized. She said fear had made her selfish. I believed her. But I didn't forget. 1 year after the accident, I took Lily to visit them. My mother cried when she saw her. My father stood silently. Then he asked, "Can I hold her?" I looked at Lily. Then I looked at him. "Why?" He didn't answer. I waited. Finally, he whispered, "Because she's my granddaughter." I nodded. "And she was your granddaughter the night you refused her." He looked down. "I know." I didn't let him hold her. Not that day. Maybe one day. But trust doesn't return because someone regrets losing it. It returns when they prove they can protect what they once abandoned. As I left, my grandfather held the door open. My father watched us walk away. He had spent his life protecting his reputation. But in the end, the truth cost him more than any secret ever could. And I learned something that night. Family isn't defined by the people who share your blood. It's defined by the people who show up when you're trapped, afraid, and begging for help. My parents refused my newborn during my car accident. But hours later, my grandfather walked into my hospital room. He didn't ask whether she was convenient. He didn't ask what people would think. He held her like she had always belonged. And as I watched him carry my daughter across that hospital room, I realized something. My parents had rejected us, but my grandfather had given us something stronger. A family built on truth. A family built on love. And a future no one could take away.